Blackburn
Enterprises.
Thank you for coming to our channel. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. Back with a new series review. I'm JB.
I'm Ken.
And today we're going to be reviewing
Kindred.
Yes. Kindred. Alright, so there's a lot of places that we can start, but don't know where we should start. So where should we start?
I guess we should start with the main character.
Main character?
Yeah.
Alright, well, actually before the main character, this was created by Brandon Jacobs Jenkins.
Yes. And he was a screenwriter, a playwright beforehand.
That is correct. That is correct. This has
is
been
like
a passion process. What am I trying to say?
This is one of his passion projects.
Yeah, that word. It's already there. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the main character of this whole thing, and that is
Dana.
Yes. So what do you think about Dana?
So Dana is basically all over the place. She's kind of trying to find what she wants to do, but she wants to write. She just moved to Cali from New York. So two different types of worlds, basically. And she's trying to navigate this new place that she's in, and some strange things happen to her.
This is spoiler.
This is that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm telling what happens.
You gonna get into it?
Yeah, I'm gonna get into it.
Yeah, I like Dana's character. As you said, I don't know if she's all over the place, but she definitely. I don't know if she has a secure foundation of where she can be, so to speak. I mean, she's just trying to figure things out. You know, she's kind of. I think she's kind of, maybe her mother. No, it's not her mother. Her aunt. Her aunt. What's her name? I don't remember her name, but she was definitely getting on my nerves. Her aunt and her uncle was getting on my last nerves during this entire series. But I guess they want her to be more,
independent and solid.
Well, not necessarily, but I guess sometimes I guess when actors, for example, like a lot of people, when they're actresses or whatever, when they're going out there to California, they sometimes go out there on a whim, just go out and make it. You know what I'm saying?
And they want them to have
right. Some people want them to have a foundation and be sturdy and knowing what you're doing.
What are you gonna do out here?
As opposed to just she's gonna go out there, she's gonna figure it out.
Right.
Get into the business.
Blowing in the wind. Yeah.
But yeah, but the main thing or the crazy thing is, and I guess that's probably where we should have started. Actually, that there's a lot of the, of course, this is a spoiler review, and when she gets pulled back in the past, she gets pulled back into the 1800s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, obviously slavery is a thing, and that is we would be remiss to not discuss the whole overarching idea of black people and necessarily how we feel about themes that include slavery, especially when it comes to movies, series, or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think about that?
I think that it was a lighter. It started off as a lighter version of how slavery was, but it was more so from. I love that they made it from somebody now going into that versus like somebody that's already lived in that, and that's their everyday life.
I mean, I think
so. It's not as like what people say traumatic as you would think that it was. It's more intriguing.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it is what it is. Some people, there are people that are going to be that way. They're going to just they're not going to want to see slave movies, and that's them. That's well within their prerogative. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, as I've said probably on one of our reviews or one of our videos before, it happened. So to pretend as if that it didn't happen, it is. But also there is the thought process that they feel like a lot of times these are the only movies or these are the only series that they can make. Mm-hmm. But my rebuttal to that, or my retort is that there's plenty of other movies, there are plenty of other series or whatever, and sometimes y'all don't support them. So. Yeah.
And then, I mean, this series is based off a book by Octavia Butler.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to Octavia Butler. She passed, I think, in like 2006, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, it definitely is an adaptation of that book. But yeah, so Dana gets pulled into the past, and I think one of the things that I really like about her character is, how she is. She's not, see, that whole idea of trying to figure things out, she kind of becomes a different person when she goes back in the past.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And at the beginning, when she first gets called into the past, it's always to save somebody. So it's not to go exploring or to try to figure out how life was back then. So that's another thing. It's like, oh, she's going back in here. It's like Quantum Leap. I think you suggested that.
It definitely was giving me Quantum Leap vibes.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it's more so that than like, oh, she's about to be like bound to slavery every time she goes back. No,
and then the whole traveling and Back to the Future type deal, that brings a whole sci-fi element, so that that brings a different type of genre and a whole and a different dynamic of of how to look at it or whatever. So what did you feel about, or how did you feel about the decisions that Dana was making throughout this
I
story?
think she played her role as a modern slave, because I mean sometimes she was like you can't tell me what to do, but she knew like, okay, I've been in college. She's an educated woman, so she knows like I just can't go in here and act like I want to act, but there's some things that I have to like adjust in my life. But I'm not gonna adjust too much because I'm still like free. So
Mm-hmm.
But her trying to navigate like how to control this, going back into the past, into the present, past, present. That was interesting within itself.
Now that I think about it, she is more of a standout person. I think the good thing about her particular personality is she kind of picks and chooses when to exercise the more confident, outgoing or assertive type person, in certain situations, just like with her nosy ass neighbors, when they were coming over there and trying to be investigative, she was kind of more laid back and kind of not as quote unquote confrontational.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to maybe when she was going back in the past, she was a little bit more confrontational, depending on who it was that she was talking to.
Right.
So yeah, but I do enjoy Dana's character.
Yes.
And one of the people that also enjoyed her character was, I guess, her love interest in the story, and that is Kevin.
Kevin. I love that Kevin has to like play a slave owner, but he is totally like repulsed with the idea of the slave owner thing. He's like, what in the world? And so he uses like coping mechanisms to escape what's going on around him, but to also make sure that Dana's safe in every situation. I love that. That's
the interesting thing about his character. For one thing that I found interesting, to me, he reminded me of what did I say?
Seth Rogen.
Yes, I said he reminded me of Seth Rogen. Like so much for like his mannerisms and how he he just reminded me of Seth Rogen. But I think that is another thing that almost instantly makes the story more compelling due to the fact that she goes back to the future. That's gonna be funny saying back to the future, or back to the past rather. Mm-hmm. And she brings him with her. So of course the first maybe time or two, she thinks she's going crazy, and she's trying to explain it to him. But then on that next time, he ends up sucking her. She brings him back to there. And so, what did you think about him being able to be stuck in the past with her as well?
Ooh, that was scary because they always had to stay together, and the plantation owner was always trying to like pull them apart. So I can't get back without you. I don't know how you're doing this. It's you. But before she even brought him into that world, he believed her. Like he saw her standing there, and literally she disappeared, and literally she reappeared. So he was like, he wasn't like the guy. I don't know, like
the very first time. Is your arm itching? What's wrong with your arm? I don't know if the first time.
Because that's the first time they went on their first date, and she was in the closet, and then she disappeared. I thought that was the second. Back.
I feel like that was the second time.
No, well, the first time he wasn't there with her when she went back. The first time. Okay. The second time he witnessed it happen.
Okay.
And so he wasn't one of those guys on movies that be like, "What are you talking about? You're losing your mind." Blah blah blah. He believed her from jump. Like something happened because you was here and he was gone.
Right.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
And I think that's another thing that made this series really good is because the consistency of the characters. I think sometimes when you watch movies like this or other movies, is like they and I understand in movies you can have characters that have a character arc where they start off one way and then they end up another way. But sometimes, and I mean, you never know what type of how a person will react when they're put into certain situations. But I think a lot of times in movies it'd be a weak character and they end up being this super strong character that's doing mighty things, and you're like
he wasn't like that.
At the beginning of the movie, you was a sucker. Now you this big strong, And I think if you look at these characters, I feel like it was kind of consistent, And so I think how they were reacting to situations, how they were looking at such things, the things they were selling, they didn't know how to react to a lot of these situations. They're kind of just trying to go with the flow. Some of the stuff they're saying is super stupid, you know what I'm saying? It's quite funny, but of course it's able to pass, and definitely one of the people that they continue to try to pull the wool over his eyes is Thomas Whalen, which is pretty much the main antagonist of this series. That's one of the main people that they have to deal with and trying to bob and weave and get around because he is the
plantation owner,
right?
And
like,
so what's going on?
And so, what did you think about Thomas Whalen?
Well, we know he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. He's not
the sharpest knife in the drawer.
And I don't think he was really respected in the town that he was from. Like he was trying to gain respect. He was trying to gain clout basically with everybody. And so when Dana and Kevin popped in, like he wanted to be Kevin's friend. He's like, okay, this man he has less than me. At least I have this land and these slaves, so I'm gonna try to like befriend him, and he's gonna be on my side.
And it's not necessarily him. I think him and his wife. I guess that was the thing that they did, and that his wife was Margaret Whalen. They had and maybe I didn't again. I was thinking about that. Like one aspect is we're so spoiled in today's time because back in the 1800s they really didn't have a whole lot to do. And so, but I feel like one thing that they constantly was doing was trying to entertain and trying to impress people, visitors.
But he was doing that, I think, like you said, for clout though. Like okay, those people really didn't respect him. Those people really didn't look at him as what he wanted them to look at him as. So
I think Margaret was to a degree too, though. Like I feel like she was too,
because she had to stand up to the last wife, and which he still loved apparently. So
and this so what do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that Margaret had to continue to deal with the ghost of the first wife?
And not only the ghost of the first wife, he was banging them slaves. So she had a lot against her. Like she couldn't please her husband, and she knew it. And so, and then her son was getting of age and becoming a teenager, and he was starting to like turn away from his mom. So she felt like probably helpless, and she didn't have anybody that she really could lean on and count on.
Yes,
except for maybe Sarah. I think her and Sarah might have had a good relationship.
Who was Sarah's the cook, right? Okay. Well, we'll go to her son, which is Rufus Whalen, and he's one of the well, I guess we initially thought he was, but still, I don't know. That part's a little confusing. What? That he was the what's the word?
He's one of her ancestors.
Yeah, I think that's
why she kept on coming to save him.
Right, and that's what we felt was the key, so to speak, as to why she kept being pulled back in the past is because every time he was in danger, and I guess they was under the impression that, or she figured that the reason was she was there to protect him, because I think at first. And that's the thing. I think you might need to go back and watch that, because I think, as you alluded to, you said Sarah, and you know what I'm saying, that I think she was trying to kill him at the front, because like the first time she came back, the baby was on his stomach. Yeah. I think she was trying to kill him on purpose or whatever. I think that's what it was, to get rid of the wife, because I feel like if she killed him, she would have no reason to be there, and she would dipset, because the overall environment there on the plantation was trash. I guess
because Margaret had a funky attitude, basically.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, but every time Dana appeared, she, Rufus was in some type of danger, and she was saving him. Right. Every time she was like saving him from being drowned, saving him from being what's the little shaker baby syndrome or something. What is it?
The SIDS or whatever.
Yeah, SIDS or something. And then I think another time he almost caught on fire or
because they set the
choked
curtains on fire.
Yeah,
Like
this boy can't. He can't stay out of trouble. Like, get somewhere and sit down. Get somewhere and sit down.
And I think his mama actually set the fire because she didn't like the curtains because it was the ex-wife's curtains.
I thought he did though.
No,
because I thought he said he was playing.
Oh, maybe.
Because when he said he was playing or whatever, but he definitely knows how to get into mischief or whatever.
Yes, he does.
That is entirely what he does the entire season.
The whole time.
Okay, I guess we'll go into who we go into. I guess we talked about the son, talked about the mom. Let's talk about Luke, which is he's basically a foreman or like the one of the overseers over the land. You know, he's been there since way back when him and Whalen was him and Thomas rather were young boys or whatever. Boys. And so he's been on there for a long time. So what do you think about his character?
He tries to straddle the fence, basically. He tries to like appease his master, and he I guess he made promises, Thomas made promises to him that he was gonna like give him and his son freedom and land. Mm-hmm. And so he tries to play that role like, oh, I gotta do what he says, but I also want to help Dana in whatever adventure she's trying to do.
Well, I think at the end of the day, as long as it's not getting interfering with what exactly he's doing, I think he's okay with it. He's okay with it, so he's not. And I think that's the thing about them, and I think that's what some people don't realize a lot of times, even when you're thinking about particular slave situations and why they were, in the situation for as long as they were. It's easy to say, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that. Why did they do this, or why they didn't do that? And a lot of times, as you see through characters like Luke and also through Sarah as well, they're pretty much doing what they have to in order to survive, right? And that's exactly what Sarah was doing. She is the head of the cook. She's the main cook, and so a lot of things that she does, she's similar to what you were saying. She kind of plays nice or tries to make appease everyone so she can keep herself safe as well as keep her kids safe. Yeah. So what do you think about that idea or the thought process of playing safe or not trying to buck the system too much?
Well, it's a double-edged sword because you're looking out for you, but you're not looking out for everybody. And so that's like one of the things they had with Dana when she tried to hide when the runaway ran away. They were like, well, now we're being starved and stuff. Yes, she's gone and she's on her own, and whatever master can't have what he wants. Yeah,
but that's why I didn't like about Sarah about that. I feel like she was on shiest with that whole situation. She was just thinking about herself and how whatever she was trying to do, not realizing that the whole plantation is suffering because of you. But it's like, I don't know. I never saw any type of remorse as far as, what everybody else was going through. So I don't know. I don't even know if it ever even dawned on her to even be understanding of what everybody else was dealing with. So that's I feel like a huge difference between her and Luke, because Luke was, I think Luke was a lot more understanding and took a lot of other people's ideas and thoughts into consideration. Like he definitely had empathy for a lot of people, on the plantation as well as himself. But I guess what that happens with a lot of people, he eventually reached his breaking point and he kind of snapped out and popped off on Thomas.
His wife was put in the crossfire.
What are you talking about?
Remember, he thought that was his baby.
Yeah.
That was he found that master dipped in his pot. He was like, you done took everything.
So what did you think about Thomas being a sucker and basically and end up selling him, after that altercation?
Cause he knew he was gonna tell his secrets. I guess he thought if he stayed, that he was gonna let everybody know that he'd been banging slaves and that the child was his, and the cat was gonna be out the bag at that point. So I guess he was trying to protect himself as well. Like, that's what you're doing down here?
I don't know. I didn't appreciate. I don't know if it was much as that. I just feel like, I guess he got, what I'm saying? I guess he was just intimidated, what I'm saying? Yeah. And he likes, he likes having everything his way. And so the minute it looked like it wasn't gonna, be his way, then he wanted to, I guess
control the situation.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll get we didn't really discuss him, but what did you? I guess we discussed him a little bit, but what did you think about?
Rufus gonna get him a black girl. We just already know. Rufus said, "I ain't wear all this slave owner stuff. Y'all gonna leave my Dana alone." And Dana loves Kevin, and Kevin loves Dana, and he's seen a different side of the world, so he's gonna go follow them.
Speaking of that, what do you think about Kevin's relationship with Rufus? Because obviously, and even Thomas picked up on it, and almost to a I don't know if it was jealousy, almost pretty much talking to him like, what's the deal with my son? You always kind of taking up for him or whatever. Yeah. And I guess Kevin tried to explain that he went through some of the same stuff. So that's why.
So he can relate to him.
But what do you think the whole dynamic between them two, between Kevin and Rufus?
I think that he was there because he knows Dana's there to protect Rufus, so he in turn feels like he has to protect him as well. And so he, telling his dad, don't be so hard on the boy. Maybe he shouldn't drop out of school. Maybe he should get an education. He's looking at it from I know what the future for hoes type person too. So your son don't need to drop out of school and work the land. He need to be getting an education.
He need to be there getting the schooling.
Yeah, get his schooling. So he won't be like you, basically is what he was saying.
Yeah, get over there and get the schooling. You gotta get your schooling. Speaking of people giving schooling, Miss Olivia was definitely giving out schooling, and I don't know if we was particularly happy with it. The relationship between her and Dana, which Olivia is Dana's mother, and they had a contentious relationship throughout the series. I think initially, it was one of surprise and enjoyment, but as time went past, as I previously said, there was contention, and there kind of was a button of their heads and trying to figure out what was the best.
Going on?
What do you think about that? And the funny, what do you think about the first part about her, forcing her to use her powers and making her think she poisoned her and that whole ordeal?
Well, first of all, she lost her mama 5 times. She already had lost her mama as a young girl, thinking her mama died in the wreck. Then she lost her mama to this. Your mama raising a whole nother child. She ain't trying to leave this place. She trying to stay here. And then she tried to kill you. What?
Well, she didn't try to kill her.
She tried to scare her.
She made her think that. But it worked.
Yeah, it did work. It did work. But the fact that, okay, Mom, so I just got you back and you want to stay here? You with these people? You don't want to come with me? That's so sad.
She didn't. Well,
it was trauma.
But I don't even know if it was trauma, but it's the same thing with her, though. Dana kind of had essentially the same idea that she just didn't want to leave, you know what I'm saying? She didn't want to lead the people, which is why she kept feeling like she kind of had to keep coming back.
Yeah, her thing is to keeping the lineage going or whatever.
I don't think that was her whole thing. I think she was talking about.
They sent Thomas off with, what's the little boy name?
Rufus.
Rufus off when the mama left finally. Then she was like, no, we got to get him back here because how he going to meet the wife, though?
But I still think that she still had a genuine concern about the other people that was there and what was going to happen with them if she just didn't come back. I feel like that. You can comment down below if you feel like Dana. Yeah. So you comment down below if you think Dana was really concerned about everybody else on there, or was she just concerned about her lineage?
I think it was main focus was the lineage, though. She said she had to get Rufus back and she thought the one little girl was gonna be the one, Sarah's daughter, but it wasn't her. It ended up being the one her mama was raising, or whatever her mama was doing, and maybe her mama was trying to do the same thing.
No.
Yeah, it was that girl that had the shot. That's the one that he's gonna end up. Remember when she found the book at the end and she was reading the names and she's like, oh, I've been thinking it was this one little girl, but it's the other little girl.
I must have missed. I do remember that part, but I think I still thought the whole time it was the other.
Not Sarah's daughter, not the one that does sign language, not her. It's the other little girl that's in the cabin with the mom. So maybe the mom was kind of doing the same thing with raising her.
Trying to
trying to groom her to be with Rufus.
Well, I don't know what exactly what she was trying to do because
That's
she's trying to go. She's trying to go. Mom's trying to. And so what do you think about that? The mama pretty much done gave up and looked like, I guess she feel like she don't know how to get. And why can't she do the same thing? I don't know. They may not be able to use their powers the same way.
But you would think if she know so much about it.
I mean, but she feel like she knew how to tap into her daughter's use of powers, so that she couldn't necessarily do it the same way. But I guess she lost hope of her ability to be able to use said power. So she was like, we just going to stick it out, and her plan was to try to go up north or whatever. So what do you think about her just pretty much just giving up and be like, okay, well, we're just going to go up north, and this is my life now?
I don't know. It's like, because I'm trying to figure out how old would she have been. I know she was young when she died, supposedly died. And so how old, if she did come back, would she be like old and decrepit? Like, I mean... Like, would she be just an old person, or would she be like...
That's the interesting thing. That's why I really hope. There is a season 2, because then there will be able to answer some questions. Because that is something that they did find out because they found her. They said they found her. You know, that was one of the things that they found out. That she was, that she was there, that she did appear or whatever. And then what's gonna happen with Kevin right now? Kevin's is stuck in the past,
and she said she got to go back and
get
him.
And she does have to go back and get him. And so, like I said, the whole idea, like I said, a lot of people not people, but I guess one of the, I feel like, taglines of this was, this isn't just your regular slave narrative, so to speak. This is definitely something different. Like I said, the whole sci-fi aspect of it is something that breathes a lot of interesting breath into it, and you're interested in what's going to go on with each characters, and just the whole overall things that Dana, which is the main character, that she has to deal with between the past and the present, of dealing with her family, like dealing with her mom and dealing with her aunt and uncle. Which her uncle is, well, is he blood? Or,
I don't think so. He must be.
I feel like he's just like by marriage or something. But but he is super annoying. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to pop on him a couple of times.
And the daggum neighbors.
Oh yeah, and the neighbors super annoying or whatever. But
girl, you cannot hear her.
Yeah, so from her house. All right, so she's between the past and the present. She's going through so much, but the characters, they're all interesting, and it's something unique about how they go about, going through and experiencing everything that they experience. So I think it's definitely something that you should tune in. Like I said, the sci-fi aspect of it just really brings a different aspect different dynamic, different aspect to it. And I think there's, I don't know if I've quite seen anything like this. All right, so if you want to go ahead and do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. We'd definitely appreciate it, and it helps out the channel. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We definitely appreciate it. And you can see more videos like this one. And if you want to go ahead and do us another favor, you want to go ahead and hit that button that's shaped like a bell. If you want to go ahead and do that, you'll get a notification.
Every time we drop a new video.
And if you want to go ahead and do us one more favor, if you want to go ahead and comment down below, and what should they comment?
If you was pulled into the 1800s, what would you do? What's the first thing you would do?
What would you do? No, we did that on another video. But yeah, what would you do if you was pulled into the 1800s?
Yes.
All right, we appreciate every single one of you. And guess what? Holla at you.
Peace.